Right, here we go. Just checking this is working because it failed a second ago. Yeah, it looks like it. Welcome to video 2. Just beat blue-red through the breach in game 1. We're just playing practice rooms here, so we're coming up against some sort of non-meta decks. Let's get rid of that. Let's go to join another game. Looks like we're just playing against practice rooms against opponents in the practice rooms here. So it means we come up against a range of decks. It's pros and cons. It means you get the practice against some sort of janky decks, the kind of decks you'll come up against in the first couple of rounds of most sort of events, especially paper events. I think where people have got their decks that they just stick with. They don't have access to. That's just me uploading video 1. Don't have access to change decks as frequently. Some people just like to play their own pet decks and stuff. Oh look, here's the best card in the deck. Seems like the rooms are busy tonight with. Yeah, really busy. Look at the amount of people playing practice rooms. This is literally just practice plays. This is usually about 4 or 5 deep, and it is 5 times that at the moment. So it looks like a lot of people are staying at home at the moment, which is no surprise with the coronavirus outbreak. Did a work from home day today as a trial. Went well actually. Managed to just log on remotely. Just to a little. Disclaimer, computer is very old and slow, so we may get some sort of lagging. Yes, I would like to play first. If you'd missed the first video, we're playing mono Red Prowess with this card, Mishra's Bauble. Let's clear the graveyards for now so we can see the screen a little bit better. Card's really good. I think I'm inclined to keep it almost because of that card. Well, no, actually, we've got just a good hand. We've got double creature. Yeah, we'll definitely keep this to stop wasting time. So always play the Soul-Scar turn 1. I think I discussed in the other one, there's a couple of very small sort of edge cases where you might not want to. I'll save the Bauble for now. If they want to Thought Seize that, it's absolutely fine. No possible play, yield all. I don't know what the possible play. Oh, the Bauble. Obviously there was a possible play. I could play the Bauble for 0, so that's why I didn't yield there. But I want to play this on turn 2. I want to maximise the damage off these 2. Also just watched a guy, I will try and give him a shout out. I'm trying to see, I might actually be able to see it on my Kindle what the guy's name was. Playing this almost this exact list, and he was explaining why you want to crack the baubles in their upkeep. So it hides the card that you're drawing for a start, so if they do want to Thought Seize you get it, and then also you can see what they're drawing anyway. So if you play it in your own turn, crack it post combat, then you're kind of losing that chance. You might draw something really good, they then might Thought Seize you, so makes sense. I guess we're going to get a block here. So for that reason, I'm still inclined. I guess we do want to cast it to make sure they actually kill the Thraben Inspector. Is there any reason we'd want to bolt this? No. Yeah, we'll do this. Don't care about the life. These are just brilliant. Without these cards and without Lava Darts, I think this deck's unplayable. So we cast this. Yes, I would like to cast it. Annoyingly, I can't yield to these triggers now because I've set auto yields anyway. So yeah, I'm not going to crack this yet. I'm going to wait and crack it in their turn. They may be playing some black-white 8 bears kind of deck. I don't think so. They're probably playing. Don't know. We'll wait and see. So yeah, we'll swing in for 6. Expecting a chump block, unless they've got more things planned for this. They maybe have some way of pumping it up or something. But I'm expecting they'll just block just to absorb some damage. They're probably sensible too. There's a chance I can just crash through anyway coming up soon. Maybe they won't because it's only 2 damage, but it doesn't make a difference either way really. So yeah, no point in cracking this now. May as well wait to hide the card so it stays on top of my deck until my upkeep instead of theirs. I've got no way of casting anything for free anyway, so we'll pass the turn and pause in their upkeep. Stop on my opponent's turn upkeep. Do this. Crack it in their upkeep, you can see what they're drawing. There's no point in seeing what we're going to draw because we're going to draw anyway. So they are all Batterskull. Okay, could be a problem if they get what's it called down? They unbanned. So this is a really good reason to do exactly that. So they've taken a lightning bolt, but they can't take the card. I mean, it's annoying because it's probably the best card anyway. They can't take whatever we're going to draw off the bauble now. So now we'll draw the card. Let's hope it's not a land. Oh, very good. So it was a bolt, and we drew a slash for turn, so that's pretty good. So this turn, I think we do actually wild slash the blocker. They could have a path to exile, but still, that's going to get in 4 damage. If we just go for them, they can. Does this make a difference? There's no actual point in playing the land yet anyway. That just incentivises them to remove things. They know that we've got less spells in hand. If we just swing, and they don't block, what does that mean? We can still kill it with the wild slash. It's still 2 damage either way. Whether we kill this with the wild slash, that's 2 damage getting through. Then again, if we kill this now and lightning bolt, then that's 3 damage getting through instead of the 2 that they can block. So I think we're incentivized to do that. Just do a very quick bit. That's 2 damage there. Then you're going to go. These will both have double. These will all have double. So that'd be 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're 1 short of lethal. They probably have a path anyway, so that's going to cut off 3 damage, but it will get us an extra land. So yeah, I think we may as well do it in beginning of combat. It's definitely worth, even though this is an aggro deck, it's worth doing these calculations early on in games, because you can win or lose games within the first couple of turns. So I think by not killing this, we give them the opportunity to make their decision as well. They know whether they want to block or not with this. It just limits their decisions, I think. Now we can yield to these. It's a pretty good start from us here. I think the only worry here is that if they get this Battle online through the 2 mana card, which the name of will come to me in a minute. But I don't think they're going to get a chance to do that. I think we should put them down to single digits and probably kill them before they get a chance to do that. They're playing black-white. Stoneforge Mystic is the card I'm thinking of. And yeah, I don't think there's any reason. This is not going to kill a Batterskull anyway. We could shrink it, but I think we're just going all out here. Pay the red, pay the life. 3, 6, 9, 12. Like I say, puts them to 1, which means any of our spells, literally any of our burn spells, will kill them the following turn. I think they're gonna, yeah, they are gonna path one of our creatures, which reduces the damage by 3. So it's only going to put them to 4. But we get the land, so we can play the land, crack one of these next turn. So yeah, slight out for them there, but I thought they had that anyway. I think they're still going to die. They've got this, which is going to be a pain land anyway, so if they want to tap this, they're taking damage. I'll play this out. No reason not to. We're going to crack it again next turn. Or crack one of them next turn. If not, if we draw nothing, we'll crack both. I can take this stop off now and carry on opponent. So yeah, looking good for us. I can't see a way they can get back into this. Even if they remove both of our creatures, that means they won't be stopping whatever we're casting, unless they cast like a Kunaros or something here. Ranger Captain's not bad, they can sack it, but if they sack it, they can't block. And the full text on it is sack it, and we can't cast the spells this turn. So if they sack it in our turn, we can cast spells in response. It does get them. I guess this could be a. We'll find out what they're playing here. It could be. A Death Shadow list. If they're playing this, it makes me think they've got something good to get. They've got ballistas. Okay, so this is mono white. Kind of transporting the list across from Pioneer, I guess. This could be a problem if they had any mana, but you know what? If they cast that, they're going down to 2. They're dead to any spell then, so it looks pretty. Any burn spell we win here. They could crack this now, but then they're just dead to again any spell. Well, they could. I don't think they're gonna. That's pretty good. Allows us to swing in for 1 short of lethal. So we just crack one of these. We'll play this, and we've got 1 mana left over. It's quite simple. We'll pay the 1. Any burn spell would be nice. Any spell. Yeah, that does it. Bosh, dead. Is there any reason they've got no mana? They're not going to have counter spells. So we could cast this first. Let's just not waste any time. Game over. Even if they had anything here as a response, they could counter it somehow. These are then both have prowess triggers. We cast this, that would be 1, 2, 3 damage getting through. We could cast a Swiftspear first there. I think it's completely irrelevant. So this is a kind of matchup where I wish we had some kind of rampaging Frostodon, the one that the burn decks play that stop your opponents gaining life, because I'm guessing they're going to go for the Heliod sort of combo. I can't think any other reason why they'd be playing Ballista plus white cards. So this is a batch where I think we care about creatures. Abrades are probably good. They kill Ranger Captain. They kill the Thraben Inspector. Kiln Fiends are not great. Have a lot of blockers. I'm not playing red. The Dragon Claw is very easy. If they're playing red, aggressive decks, i.e. Burn and the Mirror, that's the only two really. You bring this in, otherwise ignore it. Blood Moons. What lands did we see from them that game? I mean, we could bring those in, but I don't think that's what we really want to be doing. Bonecrusher is probably pretty good. Kills some of their stuff. We haven't seen any artifacts from them. We're only bringing Abrades in because of the 3 damage really to kill the creatures. And to kill Walking Ballistas actually. So yeah, we could bring Byforce. 2 mana to destroy Walking Ballista. Abrade kills it anyway. Burn spell's going to kill anyway. Surgical. I think we're waiting to see what they're doing a little bit more before we decide to bring in a card like that. So we want to cut some things. Usually we cut at least one or two of the baubles, just because they're not specific. We do this to find other cards, but if we're bringing in specific cards that we think are good, then we don't need to churn through the deck quite as much because we're more likely to draw specific good cards. So I think we just cut all 3 of them. Slows us down a little bit, stops the kind of churn going in our deck. I think we want to cut some of our lava spikes as well because they don't kill creatures. How long have we got? 50 seconds. I think we actually want to cut a couple of them. We could just bring a Bauble back in actually then. We don't need to cut all the Baubles, we're not bringing in the Kiln Fiend, so there's no non-bow there with this not triggering this. We don't have that thing going on. So I think I kind of like just keeping 1 Bauble in. The Lava Spikes, like I say, is probably the worst of our damage spells. We haven't got long left, so I think the game could go reasonably long. So I think we want to leave the red ones in. And we're not trying to kill them. We're just trying to play almost a controlling game, just to stop them doing whatever their combo is. All right, let's go for that. We could be 1 or 2 cards out there in terms of Lava Spikes. I think, as a general rule, if you see creatures that you want to kill on the other side of the board, you take these out. If you're not seeing many creatures, if you're playing against more controlling decks or combo decks, you leave them in. That's a very basic rule, but it could be correct to take all 4 out there. It could also be correct just to leave all 4 in, not 100% sure. So we've got a decent hand, we've got 2 creatures, we've got Manamorphose, we've got like the Stage Crash. This is very good. We don't have any hate pieces, so that's the only slight worry. We don't have any burn spells to kill their creatures, but with Crash Through, Manamorphose and Light of the Stage, it looks pretty good. I am almost tempted to bring in Blood Moons here because they can't cast any of their spells other than Ballista. I mean, this is fine. Take anything. They probably take Light of the Stage, probably our best card. We haven't actually got any ways of triggering this. We have to play it post-combat on sort of turn 2. They could take a creature if they really want to slow us down, but okay, that's fine. No possible play here at all. Save a little bit, a few seconds. So we're not in any rush. The Wild Touch is quite good actually because it kills any of their stuff. Doesn't kill obviously Ranger Captain, but they're not playing that anytime soon. Yeah, quite happy with drawing Wild Slash. They could actually bring in some of those mono white protection from red creatures as well, so Wild Slash could be worth keeping. I think in general with this deck, I don't think you want to play around things too much. I think you just go for it quite a lot of the time, and the nice thing about it is sometimes you can go for it and even get rewarded anyway because they cast something that you wish you'd saved something for, and then you just go, right, cast the Crash Through, cast the Manamorphose, cast the Light of the Stage, find it anyway, find the second copy, find the third copy. So we will play this pre-combat because I think we want to go Manamorphose. Let's have a think about this. The only problem with Manamorphose is if they path to exile this, we're going to go Manamorphose, we're going to go Lava Dart, Light of the Stage. Actually, that doesn't seem bad. If they path this, they path it, but it's a good chance we find other stuff. So if we go Manamorphose, Float Double Red, Lava Dart them, Light of the Stage, that's all of our mana gone this turn. The longer we leave it, the more chance they've got a path. So I think we just go for this. We have to do it all pre-combat in our main phase, so we can do the Light of the Stage, which is fine. It's worth thinking through these sort of decisions. Bedlam Reveler is a really good one. We've got already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that we're going to get into the yard very quickly. So we'll save the Wild Slash. We're not going to use the Lava Dart out of the yard anytime soon. Let's yield to this guy. They probably know what's up here, but I don't think they can stop it. They're just going to kill this in combat. I'll cast this for Spectacle. What we want to see is sort of like land spell here. Would be quite good. Horizon Land plus Lightning Bolt would be ideal. That's not bad at all, because if they do now push this, we've got a replacement. We've got a Crash through next turn anyway. We've got this to draw some stuff. I think we just want to draw a land really, but there's a fine line between drawing enough lands and too many. At the moment, 2 is absolutely fine. You can function. You can win games with 2 lands out. You can never draw a 3rd land and easily win games with this deck. You can sometimes draw 1 land and get stuck on that for about 5 turns and still win. I'm expecting a Path to Exile here, but that would be just absolutely perfect for us. Yes, they prevent the damage, but now we find that land. Yes, we're definitely going to search for it. Comes intact. That's fine. That's really good. Sets up next turn anyway. So yes, it prevented damage, but of all the removal spells they've got, I'd much rather that over a Fatal Push. Fatal Push is really bad against us, as in good against us for the opponent. Because it kills nearly everything. Doesn't kill Bedlam Reveler, I suppose, Fatal Push, but yeah, they're going to be in position. They can't take the Bedlam Reveler now, so they're going to take Crash Through, I imagine. Just another reason why Bedlam Reveler is so great. In position, good card, but it's not Thoughtseize. You can't take anything. I would take the Crash Through if I were them, because as they can see here, they now have full information. See, I think they've potentially taken the wrong card twice now. I don't think the Swiftspear was a good one earlier. I think they should have taken one of the draw spells. And I don't think the wilds. I guess what they're looking at is damage, damage output. They're stuck on 1 land here, so it's not looking good for the opponent. It's looking very good for us. So who cares about the opponent? That's really good. Swiftspear. Question now is: do we cast the Crash Through or do we cast the Wild Slash? The answer is Wild Slash, because we lose that one otherwise. So we're going to get in for 6 damage here, which is pretty good. We could up it to 7, 8, 9, puts them to 10, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need that in our graveyard to be able to cast the Bedlam Reveler next turn. We would lose the Crash Through, but then we just go. That's the nice thing about this is next turn we go Crash Through, which would mean we can't cast the Bedlam Reveler because we need 3 lands to cast it, but it doesn't because it will make the Bedlam Reveler cast 1 less. So quite a lot of the time you can cast your last card 2 in hand and still cast the Bedlam Reveler for exactly the same cost as you would have if you needed the mana. So we're still not going to cast the Lava Dart because that will be our 5th or our 6th even next turn. I say risk is that they Thoughtseize it out of our hand or Inquisition it out of our hand, but that would still be in the graveyard. The only downside is we'll get Prowess triggers, but we won't obviously be able to use the card unless it's a land or a 0 mana spell. Absolute ideal thing would be Crash Through into land into Bedlam Reveler. I think Giver of Runes doesn't really scare me too much at this point. Can be annoying. We don't have a way of killing it, but we don't really need a way of killing it. I think they're on blocking duty. They're on 1 land. They're stuck. I think we're going to win this one because opponent getting stuck on 1 land. That's pretty much the worst draw we could have had. But Crash Through, we'll start off with this. I don't know why I'm targeting them. I'm just so used to it. Burn spells. So double Prowess. So this is now not as effective. But actually, it's the same, isn't it? 2 toughness. We want to draw a land here. What we don't want to draw is some kind of burn spell that we then have to make a decision whether we cast it or not. Okay, so may change ideas slightly here. I think the Light of the Stage is good enough that we could tempted to even go Lava Dart them, cracking this land, sacking this land, Light of the Stage pre-combat, that's 6 going through. They can absorb 2 if they really want to, but it's 4, gets rid of the creature, and then we still have this to cast the following turn. We have the 2 mana, we have the cards in the yard. We do this all pre-combat. No point in targeting this if we can't kill it. If we could give it minus counters potentially, sack this. I think this is all. You could take the other route here. You could cast the Reveler, but I think we're just getting maximum value off the Light of the Stage. It could all be Academic. Opponent stuck on 1 land, 5 cards in hand. They must have probably multiple 2 and 3 drops there. If they don't draw a land in the next turn, they're dead basically. Even if they do, I think they're still dead. Bedlam Revelers are just game-winning cards, really. If we draw one of these, our chances of winning go up hugely. Apologies to the opponent taking a little bit longer than I need to try and explain everything. And also, it is always just worth... You're never going to go to time with this deck, so it's always worth... have we played a land? Yeah, we played until your next turn. Very nice. So we could even just cast the Bedlam Reveler now, which is tempting, because this isn't even in our hand. We don't need to show them... I know we've got one Bedlam Reveler anyway, but let's let them make a blocking decision first. I guess we could have found a Mishra's Bauble off the Bedlam Reveler. We've got one in the deck, we could have cast that, maybe hit it, and then for an extra 2 points of damage, which would have been for 10. I don't think they're going to block, I think it's almost irrelevant. So we will cast the Bedlam Reveler here, because this we can cast next turn anyway, it's not going to get lost. So yeah, obviously 2 goes to that, the rest goes to them. No choice there. So we cast this, we can cast this next turn. I'd rather get a 3-4 prowess down than a 1-2 prowess. It's going to cost classic double red. Opponent could just scoop there, to be honest, because yeah, looking good. Looking good for our theoretical 2-0 if we were playing a league here. If we were playing a league, we'd probably be coming up against better decks, better opponents. Like I say, I think it was questionable in terms of what they took with the double Inquisitions. I personally, let's think of what hand I had. I would have taken Light Up the Stage. I think is one of the best cards. I would have taken that for the first one. The second one, I think they took the burn spell again over the draw spell. I think potentially they misevaluated. They thought the direct damage coming at them with the haste creature and the 2 damage was more important. I think for us, every single time I draw a card which draws me another card, that is nearly always better than a one-off damage spell. While we're in aggro deck, we are the cantripping, almost like a blue-red Phoenix type sort of deck. We just want to see as many cards as possible. The more cards we see, the more likely we're going to win. The worst thing that can happen to us is we can kind of run out of gas. Sometimes if you just draw a couple of land off the top, followed by a burn spell, followed by a burn spell, followed by a land, that's when it gives the opponent a chance to cast their sort of 3, 4, 5 mana card, which are much more powerful than ours individually, but the reason our deck's so good is because you can churn together these 1 mana, 0 mana, discounted 1 mana cards, 2 mana, 8 drops, absolutely crazy this card. I think I said in the first video, without this without this card, the deck's not functional. Absolute key cards are Bedlam Reveler, the Horizon lands. Again, without these, you just flood out and lose games. And Lava Dart, which interestingly, I think I was looking at a version of this for Pioneer. I really like this deck. Did well with it in Modern recently. I've never done badly with it whenever I've played this in events. I've played, I don't know, 3 or 4 sort of paper events with this. Always finished on positive record. Always done well. Always felt the deck's good. I think I've played okay with it. Still learning. Still sort of finding the correct lines a little bit more often. In Pioneer, you don't have access to Horizon lands. You don't have access to any lands that you can kind of turn into spells. These are essentially just 5 spells that just say 1 mana, sack your land, drop for this turn, draw a card, which allows you to find the burn spells, usually 3 damage per burn spell. And then the Lava Dart is just amazing. Double prowess triggers, usually say a couple of creatures out, that's usually 1 damage to them, another damage to them, another 2 damage from your creatures, another 2 damage from you. So yeah, 4 damage overall from a 1-drop. Sacking Mountains, which again you just want to do as much as possible. Really, you can function on 2 lands quite easily. 3 is fine. 4 is usually flooding. 4 is fine if you're going late game. If you're drawing Revelers and you're turning stuff together, you're kind of casting spell into spell. Damage spell into Light of the Stage, into another damage spell, into a Bedlam Reveler. You're fine. 4 or 5 mana's fine then, but you can win games quite easily on 2 mana. And yeah, so all the other cards I think are actually available in Pioneer. I think the Lava Spike's not, but you can take that out for Wild Slashes or something. It's not the end of the world, but I think these are the exact cards why it's not playable in Pioneer. People have tried it. There's a blue Red Prowess one in Pioneer, playing the Phoenixes. Ryan Overturf's played that a bit. I think it seems fine. It just doesn't seem good in the metagame right now. It doesn't hate out the combo decks, and it's not more consistent than the other aggro decks. I think the reason this deck is so good in Modern is because it is the best aggro deck. It's probably close with Burn. I think it's slightly better than Burn. I couldn't tell you the exact reasons of it. All I know is that at the moment in recent SCG qualifiers, etc., people are playing this over Burn. I picked this one up because I was playing Mono Red Phoenix originally. Saw a guy playing that on YouTube, on Twitch even, and it looked absolutely insane. I played it a few times and it was really good. Obviously with the banning of Faithless Looting, it makes that deck sort of unplayable really. It did seem like it was going to do the same for this deck. I played this, I think the worst performance I had with this deck was at the European Modern Finals in England that Axion ran, where I played the Steamkins basically in place of the Faithless Lootings, and Steamkin's fine, but it's just not necessary. It doesn't do the same kind of thing. Tried looking at other kind of things, Thriller Possibility type cards, Cathartic Reunions, unplayable in this really, it's just a dredge card. There's other cards like Reckless Charge, that way you can get extra value by casting them from your graveyard. I think there's is it Flame Jab or something. There's a few other cards, or Flame Burst, something like that, where it's 2 damage and you cast it again for 5 mana from your graveyard, but you're just not getting to 5 mana. They're just not as good. Mishra's Bauble's kind of filled that slot. I really like it. It's really good. Bonecrusher's good, just generally a good card. 2 cards in one. Having cards that you can cast and then put in your exile zone, similar to Light of the Stages, just keeps the gas coming. It means you can just get some damage in early, play it later when sort of you're both low on resources. It's just obviously a good card. I wasn't sure if it would make the transition to Modern, but the more I play with it, the more I think it's a really good card. Just playing one of at the moment because it's expensive in our deck. 2 mana is expensive. 3 mana is very expensive. It's the most expensive card in our deck. If you're playing the 4/3, this is usually 2 mana. Similar to Uro though, I think it's shown now that people are playing these sort of cards. These sort of 2-for-1 cards, they're good enough for Modern. Uro especially I think is difficult for this deck. I haven't played against it much, but I'm expecting if I do come up against Uro decks, that they will be a big problem. So it makes me slightly incentivized to go to a 3rd copy of Surgical in the sideboard. The only worry about that is whether the Uro decks or the blue-green sort of decks are playing enough other incidental graveyard sort of base deck cards. I think if they're playing Snapcasters, any other kind of Delve type, Delirium type cards, anything like that, I think it's worth it. Just for Uro, probably not. At that point it's probably worth just playing something like a 1-of Carries Ev's Expertise or Harnessed by Force or something like that. So yeah, I will end this video and we'll go into a new one. See you on that one. Cheers, bye.